again another episode of Heavy in the Paint. Let's get right to it. This brother right here, one of the most prolific shooters in NBA history. Yes, you have never heard of him, but you know what? You need to go back and do your research because
That's crazy.
He came in the league. We're on a mission. He came in the league, and you know what? He took care of his business, but more importantly, he takes care of his community. Outstanding individual, Mr. Anthony Morrow. You didn't like that intro? What's up with that?
I love that, bro.
Come on, man.
I
You know
love
you
it. I
was my
love it.
man.
I love it.
Hey, Mo, man. Always a pleasure, man. I always like to see you smiling and stuff like that. And the reason why I say that because it's this time of year, your story becomes even more prevalent, and I think it's such a great reminder because the NBA is one where we can have guys come in the league. You know, guys are kind of earmarked to come in the league. You came in the league, but you know what? You bust the door down and made sure that you not only got into the league and stayed in the league. I got to ask you go back and start from the beginning in terms of your thoughts on the Golden State Warriors at this juncture, in terms of seeing the dynasty end with Klay Thompson moving on to Dallas.
I mean, I came in '08.
With Steph.
Steph was my second year. That was Steph's rookie year.
Okay, you're a rookie. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like then, him coming into the organization then as a rookie, and it was like, man, it was a sense of kind of comfort with having somebody that you grew up with playing AAU and high school rivals and all that, and seeing his progress and actually being drafted to the team I was on was really dope. So I'm always be proud of him. I think that whole journey with me with Golden State and coming to the league, Don Nelson and all those guys, Steven Jackson and Al Harrington and Monte Ellis, Corey Maggette, all these guys, like, we it was a camaraderie. I wish we could have kept that together, but we was kind of in the transition stage of the older Warriors and but we believe team, and they went and got their money, and then it was our turn, so it was kind of like a start over, but Steph spearheaded that, and to see where they've been, 4 rings. My journey with the Warriors was amazing. That was my foot in the door. It was a blessing from God. I don't know if I'd have had that same kind of career or longevity if I didn't come into the league under that organization and Don Nelson and them and those guys. But no, man, it's a special organization, bro. Like overall, it's just a special organization to see like the development. They drafted and developed people. It wasn't like they tried to go find people to build from different organizations and build those Miami Heat teams back in the day. That only worked then. Most of the teams is winning now. They draft and develop, and the Warriors, and now the Nuggets are like a product of that. That mentality. Like we got to build through the draft, through the staff, through the scouting, through the player development. And that's what that was. Rico Hines, Steve Salas, those guys really helped me become the professional that I am when I got in the league.
You guys set the groundwork for that next step in that next group that came in with Steph and seeing, like you said, that run. How surprised were you that Klay Thompson left and the end of the dynasty pretty much officially over, if you will?
I don't know. Well, in terms of Klay, I think that was good I think it was good for both sides. We were in one organization for 13 years. It's going to be emotional, not just for you, not just for your family, or, the organization. Like it's emotional in general for everybody. We won 4 championships. I mean, and I don't know Klay like really, really personally, but I know his work ethic, I know his mindset, I know his grind, I know his mentality. So I think he needed that refresh, kind of that restart. And I think he can get that in Dallas. That was a great, great pickup for Dallas. And I think that's gonna translate. He'll be able to go in there and find his niche, and everybody's like, yo, he got to refine his shot. I'm like, he still averaged 18 after 2 major lower extremity injuries. He still averaged 18. So, I mean, if you want him to go, I think his career average is like 22. So I'm like, he can go in there. If he averaged 20 with them and they get to the Western Conference Finals and get to the finals or something like that, you'll still see the same two-way player. But I don't think the dynasty is over in Golden State. Well, I mean, that dynasty is, but I don't think that they are over as a franchise. Like, dynasties don't last forever. But I don't think it's going to be like when Mike first left Chicago Bulls or something, and then they just fell off, and then I don't think it's going to be like that. When he left the second time, I don't think it's going to be like that. That's one of the most intelligent, well-ran organizations in sports, and people need to still remember that. Now, Bob Myers leaving, that kind of took a hit on the organization, but they still got a lot of smart, really intelligent, innovative people working in their organization. You'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I got to go back because I want to go back to your story, because I get excited about your story because we have somebody mutually in common. We always know. And obviously, as the years go by, I've always admired your work ethic. I admire your ability. And it's always around this time of the year when you have the draft afterwards. And now all of a sudden, those guys that didn't get drafted, probably should have, but didn't get drafted, they have a chip on the shoulder. And a lot of people can use the term chip on their shoulder. I want to go back because I can recall when I had a show, Bottom Line Sports Show, when it first started out, my man Chris Williams, big shout out to C. Will, love him.
Will,
Yeah, man, that's my man. He was hooping and stuff. And when I first got on the AAU scene, man, I tried to bring him along, but nevertheless, he was the first one that told me about you, because I know he knew Anthony Randolph, whatever, and he kept telling me about. And I remember hearing about Scott Anthony Morrow. I'm like, who is this? 37 and putting up the points, a record that still stands in Summer League to this day as we get ready for that Vegas Summer League. What were the thoughts? Talk about that, draft night, going into draft night, and then the process of not getting drafted, and sort of what fueled you to go out there first game or so and get busy the way you did.
I mean, for me, bro, overall, I mean, the draft, I like fell asleep during the draft. I was still on Georgia Tech's campus. Like, I fell asleep during the draft. But I mean, overall, I was optimistic about workouts. I was optimistic about getting picked up by a team for summer league. Like, I was just ready to go. I was in first gear already. I really wanted the opportunity to compete in some of those workouts in summer league against guys that you grow up. They already had the status and the prowess. They already had everything since we was in like the 8th grade, 9th grade. So I got a chance to compete against them that I maybe couldn't compete against them in college. So I was more about the competition. And that was my main thing. And then also, being able to be in a situation where you're not in a college system, you can go out and just really play. But my mindset was like, I buried myself in the gym every day. And one thing I would tell, whoever didn't get drafted, or if you was a second round pick, or if you went later than you thought you was going to go, it don't matter. My thing was always, I can control every single day of my life because all we thinking about is basketball right now.
I want to stop.
If you have any, and I had a daughter on the way at the time, so it was like even more like motivation.
I want to stop you because I want to go back, because that's powerful. Can you elaborate on that? Because it seems apparent you turned the disappointment of not getting drafted, or maybe not even allow yourself to even anticipate getting drafted, and then locking in the way you did and stuff. First of all, before you answer that, was there another team that you were going to decide to sign with, and what made you sign with the Golden State Warriors? Because that right there set the table for not only summer league, and I want to be clear about this to people. You're not just a sort of run-of-the-mill summer league thing. No, he handled his business in the NBA. One of the best shooters of all time. I'd say it right now, Mr. Anthony Morrow. What made you sign with the Golden State Warriors? And how did you just change your course of thinking?
I mean, that was the only team that was going to sign me. That was only the team in Ukraine was going to sign me to go overseas.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, I played well enough to kind of build some leverage, and I end up getting the opportunity to go to training camp with the Warriors based off summer league play. And
Yeah.
a lot of that was just preparation. Like it goes back to right after the season, like after I finished that tech, and I was like, all right, it's just me here now. It's not no more games. I don't. It's not like they're gonna call me and tell me come work out or do an individual or come do like shoot around, like none of that in college anymore. So now it's like, what are you gonna do? And shout out to my agent at the time, Wallace Prather, and Dion Glover and all these guys. And I just really locked in the gym. My man Corey McCray, we locked in the gym, and it was just like that was my whole priority. Everything was basketball. Working out 3-4 times a day until leading up to summer league. Start off with the Miami Heat in Orlando, and then the Golden State Warriors in Vegas, and then with them again in Utah. So I played all three. My first coming into the league, all three summer leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Being undrafted, and getting the opportunity to compete against these guys that I really wanted to play against since Nike and ABCD and 5-star camp and everything like that. So it was just the mindset was like you worked as hard. So now what are you going to do to finish this off?
You were talking about the fact is that you're having that reality talk with yourself and being self-aware and really giving yourself the full, motivation and encouragement to say, you know what, listen, this is what it's got to do. This is right here. You started off, like you said, playing on the Orlando Summer League with the Miami Heat. Uh, I want to get from there. I want to go to the Vegas Summer League. How did you maintain yourself to come into that Summer League? Because you played with two different teams. So you played with Miami Heat and Orlando Summer League. How was that experience? Talk about that experience.
But with Miami, it's like Pat Riley. So I had to try out for the Miami Heat Summer League team.
Mhm.
So Daquan Cook, shout out to Daquan Cook too, man. He was a great player. He ended up separating the shoulder, but he was a showcase player. So for those that don't know, showcase guys, they already under contract. They just want them to, they drafted him high the year before. He ended up separating the shoulder. And it was unfortunate. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just glad. I was already ready to go to Ukraine because they said, we'll give you 80, 90,000. I'm going. I got a daughter on the way. Like, that was my mentality. And then I got an opportunity to play. Shout out to Mario Chalmers, Mike Beasley. And that's the first time I saw Mike Beasley play in person. I was like, he's going to be the MVP of the league one day. That's how I was thinking about him. Straight out of Kansas State, Mario out of Kansas, but we already was cool. And the pick and roll, I mean, every time they ran it, I was just open. So I was hitting a lot of shots, played well, and then the Ukrainian team went up to like 100,000. So I called my agent like, yo, I'm ready to go back to Atlanta and work out. Because I was still locked in from all the work from before, summer league, pro-am, everything, and just the workouts. And he was like, nah, you got to go to Vegas. Golden State called me. I said, all right, we'll go to Vegas. And I was like the 16th guy on the roster in the summer league. And the showcase guys in Golden State didn't play after like 2 games. And then I might have had like 5 points, then like 8 points, and like 16. And the last game I had like 24 or something like that. So they was like, okay, now we want you to go to Utah. I'm like, why I'm going to Utah? He was like, because it's the last summer league.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to go, but you going to be the showcase guy now. So you going to start. Don't look over your shoulder thinking you about to come out the game. And I end up getting the MVP of that.
Now
So
stop
that's
right
the
there.
first.
Stop
Yeah.
right there. Now, okay, let's go back to Orlando. So Miami, they just say, what was the decision afterwards? Obviously, was it a situation where it's like, we just got too many guys. You were just here. We really appreciate you. Good luck.
Nah, they was going to invite me to training camp too.
Why
Pat
you
Riley.
leaving that out, man? Let's come
I'm
on.
not. No, no. Look. No. Hold on.
Oh
Wait.
man,
My
that's the
bad. All right.
Anthony
All right. I
Paul
got you. Look.
story, man.
Look. So Pat Riley and Eric. That was Eric Spoelstra's first year, 2008, and both of them was like, um, I talked to them. I shook their hands when somebody was over there. Was like, we heard you going to Vegas with Golden State, but they were like, we'll see you at training camp.
Mm.
So I'm thinking like, all right, well, I got a training camp invite. But I don't know if it's legit because I'm like, I only played like I didn't play the first two games in Orlando. And then I played a little bit, I had like 6 points. The next game I had maybe like 8 points. And then like the last two games I had like 18 and like 22 or something like that. So that's how I got the invite to Vegas with Golden State, with the Golden State Warriors. But they said that they mentioned we'll see you soon. Pat
Yeah.
Riley said we'll see you soon. But Pat about to work. That's why I liked it because it was it was a pretty intense tryout to make the summer league team.
Mm.
So I was like, I could just imagine what practice is. You know what I'm saying? And then Pat don't let nothing rock in Miami. Like you can't go out, you can't do nothing. Like, and I was like, I wasn't even trying to. I was just glad to be like, look out the window and see the beach. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that was cool with me. I got an Xbox and I got the beach. I'm cool.
Yeah.
But
You know what
yeah.
I noticed? I noticed about you, man, and this is something that I've always admired about you. And the fact of the matter is your humility. Like like this story is so amazing. And like I've heard it, we've known each other for years and heard the story, but it's so inspiring and encouraging because every year there's somebody that aspires to do what you have done, right? And you touched on the fact is that I'm like, well, why are you skipping all over this stuff? But that's because again, you're such a humble person that it's like, yeah, I did this and I moved on. But I guess what you mentioned about in Miami, that's clearly why we see a lot of the guys that are in that Miami Heat roster, on that roster and in that rotation, that might not be the highest drafted guys or whatever, but if you put the work in and you work hard, you will be rewarded and stuff. So you go to Vegas, you go to Utah, and the end of the summer is there, and now Golden State is saying what to you?
Now I'm gonna go back. You want me to talk some stuff? I'm gonna go back for
Man,
a second.
come, you know what?
No, because I gotta shout out my
We might
brother.
need to start the
I gotta
show
shout
over.
out my brother Anthony Randolph.
Okay,
My
let's
brother.
start. You know what? I want to start the show over, man. I want to start this
You
show
want to
over.
start over?
Huh?
You want to start over?
No, I'm like, yo, no.
No,
We gonna keep going. We gonna keep going, man. Because you know what? You
no.
know,
This what is this? Hey, this is how this. Hey, look, this feel like back when I came to New York and did your show back or
yeah.
whatever.
You were you was nervous though, right?
No, I wasn't nervous. I was with people. I'm cool. I'm always
No, I'm
cool.
not talking about that type of thing. Looking
No,
over.
I'm saying like, look,
Talking about the fact is, it's again, it's like this is what you wanted, right? And like you said
genuine.
before, the ability sometimes, it's a lot of people that sometimes get a lot of the attention, right? And we just got off of this NBA draft where there are a lot of guys that got attention, but this might be like I had a guy tell me from the league, the best player in this current draft might be 13, 14, 15. Might not be one of these guys in the lottery. And a lot of the times that's great motivation. But some guys don't know how to channel the frustration, the disappointment into saying, all right, let me go handle my business and utilize this summer league and already just accepting the outcome and stuff. But you mentioned about Anthony Randolph, outstanding ball player, man, that was hooping and stuff like that at LSU. He gets busy, gets drafted by the Golden State Warriors and stuff. How influential was Anthony Randolph to you?
Nah, man, he was. That's my big little brother to this day. You know what I'm saying? And I remember in summer league, and this might be some motivation because I said, look, I got hurt the day before he scored 42 and broke the scoring record. So that game I didn't play.
Okay,
And
stop right. See, there you go. See, this is what I'm talking about.
you
Let's,
asking me I'm
yeah,
giving you
let's
the
piece
one.
it all together. Let's piece it up. So this is Vegas, right? Before you go to Utah, right? Or this is
Yeah.
the second year.
No, this is Vegas.
Okay,
This the second year. This one Ant got drafted. Yeah.
okay. So let's go back. Let's stay with the first year. So you go to
This
Vegas.
one Steph got Steph's rookie year, Ant's rookie year.
Okay, that's year two, but you already been in the
It's my
league
year
year one,
two.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. You go from being undrafted. You go to Utah. You go to Vegas. You go to Utah as a showcase guy. You do what you have to do in Utah. What was that? Talk about that conversation in regards to knowing that you are going to be invited to training camp with the possibility of making the team.
I was well, yeah, okay. So that's the first time I actually read an actual contract. They brought it to me at the end of training, at the end of Utah Summer League. Get to training camp, still nervous because you still gotta like make it through training camp. You know, at this point, the overseas team may be at like 110, 120.
Oh, so it's
Want you
still
to
going
come.
up.
Yeah, it's like more incentive for you to not go to training camp. So I'm like, I'm cool with whatever. I kind of feel like I'm playing with house money at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make the team. I don't play like maybe the first 5 or 6 games. And then I played like I forgot the first maybe the Grizzlies or somebody. I had like 6 points. Then the next game I had like 8 points. Mike didn't play the game after that. Then I had like 12 points. And then we get to we get to LA. We playing the Clippers, just like Baron Davis, Coutinho Mobley. They were really good. And we had a lot of vets that was hurt or couldn't play or something. And this is why I love Don Nelson. Shout out to Don Nelson. Don Nelson was like, we had all week for him to tell me this, or at least 3 days. He didn't tell me I was starting until shoot around that morning. Tomorrow you starting. I was like, all right, cool. I'm locked in. So that game, I hit like my first 2 or 3 baskets. And like I'm guarding Coutinho Mobley, and he's still nice. But like I was like, Coutinho is like that. So I'm like guarding him, and I'm young, so I'm trying to like, we going back and forth in the beginning of the game. And then I score like 7 straight points or something like that. And then coach called a play, but I got the ball. Shout out to Stack Jack, Steven Jackson. I passed it to run the play. And he passed it back like, and then they called a timeout. He went over there. Coach is talking Stack is like, I ain't gonna say exactly what he said. Basically, why you passing the ball, bro? Like you on. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't worry about no plays. And that when he said that to me, it was like a light went off in my head. I was like, all right. Every time I get it, I'm at anybody who guarded me. So then I ended up scoring 37, 11
Whoa, whoa,
rebounds. I
whoa,
didn't know that was the
whoa,
most
whoa,
points.
whoa, whoa! You scored how much?
It was 37, man, 11 rebounds. And I didn't realize that I had 37 though. I just like I didn't realize the record. Like I got back in the locker room after the game, you know, take a shower and put your clothes on and stuff, turn around all these cameras. But I'm thinking that's for like the other guys. So I'm like walking off, PR guy Raymond, like, hey, wait, come over here. You gotta talk to them. You broke a record. I'm like, what? Then they started telling me about it. So, I just told I was like, man, I felt good. You know, I was young, so I was really on that. I ain't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yeah, I feel good. But it was cool. We get on the bus. Shout out to my brother CJ Watson. We talking about it. And then we get back to Oakland. We was in LA. We get back to Oakland. And my bro Marcus Williams, I used to hang out with him all the time. Rest in peace, my homie Tyrus, his homie. I went up there. It was me and Tyrus in the condo. And I was just going over there to kick it. Because I ain't had nobody out there with me. And I went in there and Tyrus had it on ESPN. It's like as soon as I walked in, they had this whole special. And Tyrus in there watching TV, he turned around, looked at me, he was like, bro. you went crazy. They doing all this. He was like, I was like, yeah, I guess, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't thinking like that. Cause all I had been thinking about was every day of everything I had to do to even get to that point. But that was like solidification right there for me.
So that yo, that is amazing. Like the thing is, okay, so first of all, you make the team. Second of all, you still hold a record to this day that it's you and I think Fred Van Fleet. Fred Van Fleet has the most points scored by an undrafted player. You have the most points scored by an undrafted player and then as a rookie.
Yeah.
Right, 37 points, and I
That's
think
a rookie.
yeah,
Yeah.
37 and then 54 by which come. So you, I think, had the record before that, right? In terms of 37, that you had your 37 was most points ever by an undrafted player, and then the most as a rookie. And then until
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet did that recent. When you
Right.
look at this, when did you was that the game and afterwards that you said, okay, I can play in this league and I have a spot? Because again, did you ever walk around and just being like, yo, am I gonna be here? They gonna make a cut, or, trade, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, was that the game that you sat back and said, okay, I can be here?
Yeah, that was the moment I felt like that. But
Mm.
also, like, the moment I felt like the moment I felt like I knew I was a pro was the game. It's kind of crazy because it's like the scrimmage in front of the fans before my rookie, like before my rookie year, and I was at the scores table with Stack Jack. I was at the scores table with Stevie Jackson, and he took me under his wing immediately. You know what I'm saying? I thank God for him for that. And he was like, I was like, hey man, don't let him cut me tomorrow, man, because it came down to me and another guy, and he was like, man, you already made the team. What you tripping on? Go out there and hoop. He was like, I've been talking to them about that. But they don't want to tell you that because they don't want you to let up. And I'm
Right.
like, man, I pushed, after that, like I went and worked out after that game. You know what I'm saying? Because I just like when I got the validation, I felt like I'm just gonna mash the gas now. It's on.
Mm.
So like that was my mentality, after that. But that's when I really felt it. But that 37 game against the Clippers in LA, when like it was kind of surreal, I ain't gonna lie, because you hear the Clipper fans saying, yelling my name, and they don't even know who I am. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I was like, all right, I can do this. I can do this night in, night out. I can do this because I know I'm not going to stop working. I'm not going to let nobody outwork me, so that was my mentality. But you got to have that. Like I tell people, if you're going to be at the highest level of any profession, you got to have something that's definitely going to separate you from anybody else in that field. I don't care what it is, business, entertainment, sports, whatever it is. If you want to be the greatest, you'll show that your craft and how you work on your craft is different than how they work on their craft. That's
So,
how I looked at it.
when you were by yourself in that moment, you said you was over, and Marcus Williams, Peoples and stuff was saying, man, they showing it. I remember seeing that on Sports Center, and
Yeah.
obviously, just in the moment, it was like, wow. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you embrace that moment? Because, like you said before, you kind of compartmentalized and was like, oh, okay, I'm so locked in. How did you, when you got by yourself, how did you embrace that moment? Was that really like reflecting back? Was that getting on the phone, calling family and stuff like that? What was that moment like?
It was normal till I called like my mom. Like my mama, like they was like, my mom was like, yo, they showed me something like, excuse me, and she saw it. And talking to her, it was like the real surreal moment was, well, I'll get to that because I don't want to skip steps.
No.
But talking to my mom, I don't want to skip steps. But talking to my mom that after that day, like the end of that day, because I was on the West Coast, so she's on the East, obviously, and It's like 1 o'clock in the morning when she and mom go to bed early. So her calling me, and she was, mom dramatic, of course, at the time. And, it really set in because she started talking about, rec league games when I was a kid and AAU and high school, all that, college and just the whole journey. And, it kind of set in then, but it was later that day because I had went back to the gym. You
That
know what I'm
night?
saying? Like, hell yeah, yeah. Like Sidney Moncrief, Keith Smart, they were assistant coaches. They used to tell me, "Hey, you gotta chill." You know what
Wait,
I'm saying?
wait a minute. Back up. Back up.
All right,
You,
I'm gonna
you
tell you.
score.
Go
You
ahead. I'm gonna let
score
you.
37. Y'all in LA. Y'all fly back, right? You go to Marcus Williams' house. You look in all this stuff. I know everything is going on. You go back to the gym.
I went back because in Oakland at the time, it was a Marriott, and on top of the Marriott was our practice facility, the
Mm.
Warriors. If you go look at the very top, is the Golden State Warriors. But you gotta have key fobs. Everybody can't just get in there. But I go back to the hotel. I'm staying in the hotel at the time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm in the hotel with some room service. I'm chilling. Now it's like 11:30. I can't go out nowhere. I ain't trying to spend no money. Only thing I got is the advance that I had from the Ukrainian team that I got to give back if I make the team with the Warriors.
Mm.
So I don't want to like really spend none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I gotta get that back. You know what I mean? So we getting per diem. I'm cool. So the gym right there. Go upstairs. I went up there. I just got on the gun. The gun right there. It's already set up.
The shooting gun.
That's
Yeah.
200 makes right there.
Yeah. The shooting gun. Uh
The
huh.
shooting gun. Shooting gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We.
Yeah. It's right there. So I mean, I'll go up there and get 200 makes in, go back down there, take a shower, play Xbox, go to sleep. Back to work the next day.